what role does the Nicene Creed play in the relationship of the Eastern and Western church traditions? It has two significant roles. One is that it unites them. The Nicene Creed is the only confessional or creedal statement embraced in all of Christianity, that is by Protestants, by Roman Catholics, and by Orthodox Christians, both those who are Eastern Orthodox and Oriental Orthodox. It goes back to the Nicene Council of 325, which we celebrate the 1700th anniversary of in 2025, and that Creed of Nicaea was modified slightly at 381 into the form we now know it. So it's the one creed that's accepted and embraced everywhere. It does also divide us for this reason. While the creed was adopted by an ecumenical, that is an entire church council, it was taught in both the East and West. And after the collapse of the Roman Empire in the West and the break between the Western Roman Empire and what became the Byzantine Empire, the church in the West continued to wrestle with its own questions, and it faced a particular kind of adoptionism, especially in Spain, a view of Christology that suggested to some people, at least, that to add the phrase, the Spirit proceeds from the Father and from the Son, filioque, and that came to be used and added to the form of the Nicene Creed that was being uttered in and confessed in the church in the West. However, it wasn't the pattern that had developed in Eastern Christianity, where they hadn't wrestled with that issue, and eventually, in the time of the Emperor Charlemagne, the emperor insisted that the creed add the phrase filioque and from the Son. It reflects two different ways of speaking about the Trinity. In the Eastern Christian tradition, following the Cappadocian Fathers, Basil of Caesarea, Gregory of Nazianzus, and Gregory of Nyssa, the way of speaking was to start with the three persons and move to the oneness of God. Whereas in the West, Augustine, the most significant church father of Latin Christianity, started with the oneness of God and moved to the threeness. And in that situation, it made sense to speak of each of the persons in reference to the other two, so the Spirit proceeds from the Father and from the Son. During the Middle Ages, there was a controversy between Eastern and Western Christianity about unilaterally adding something in the West that belonged to the entire church. And that continues to be a point of issue, but ultimately there are ways of bringing these two together, recognizing that this is the one universally accepted ecumenical creed that we all embrace.